Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. I'm Gimli, and tonight my guests are... First up, he's so fat he hasn't seen his penis in over 30 years. It's Danny the GFP.
Oh, how dare you? Someone sent me a photo of it once.
Or it came in right at the last minute, as the listeners might or might not hear, but Chubuddy V.
I told you, I'm not sure if that's racist or fattest or both.
I think it's a little from column A and a little bit from column B, although you're not Asian, are you?
Well...
You're just a little bit grubby.
I do have my own internet cafe that I have in an old trailer, so you're welcome.
You run out of a porta cabin.
I do, and it's all Amiga A500s working on Workbench V3.1, 1.3. That's it.
Oh, you've lost half of us.
Good.
Right, I'll move on.
Good.
Next up, City Slicker, it's Andrew Fife. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm very well. Long time.
It's only been there a fortnight, I think, hasn't it, this time?
Has it really?
Yeah.
It seems like longer.
It seems longer because we waited a fucking hour for him to get here.
Oh, that is true.
I've had a howler today, so not only did I go to work wearing a multicoloured suit, I wore a navy blue blazer with grey trousers, which didn't get picked up until about 5:30, and then got picked up by 4 people. But I got off at Highbury Station, and then got some fast food, which I shouldn't have done because my girlfriend would go nuts if she found out. Got to my flat, then realised I'd forgot my keys, so I had to stand there nailing off the fast food as quickly as I could before my girlfriend got home. Spilt it everywhere. Had to distribute the proceeds into the private square we live on, and then I had to go for a piss in the local pub whilst waiting for her to come back for the 20 minutes. So it's been a bad hour.
You had a pint in there as well, didn't you?
I literally didn't. I was actually waiting underneath our metal stairs to try and scare her, but she saw me from afar. So
Saw your
What is
ill
it?
fitting suit, your ill matching suit.
yeah.
What is it, Fife? Because it sounds like you went out dressed like Timmy Mallet, but is it because you've got a girlfriend now that you're eating nuts and berries?
I went out looking like Alan Partridge.
Oh. I had my very own Dan moment the other day. Literally, someone shouted out my car window, Dan! Dan! Ah, it was a wonderful thing. I digress. Next up, our man in Poland, it's Steve. Hello, Steve.
Greetings from the deepest Eastern Europe and Warsaw, and it's surprisingly for nearly October, 20 degrees out here.
Gee, it's only been 12 here today.
Yeah, I've been sunning myself in between meetings, drinking coffee.
How have you been since the last time that we spoke? It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've been okay. I've been. I got myself psychologically prepared for the fact that winter might be around the corner, so I got all the winter clothes out of their storage and aired them and pressed them, and then now we've got 20 degrees, so I've had to put them all back again. So I'm hoping this may last till November. We might get away with it this year again, like we did last year.
It's not going to here. Weather reports are saying coldest winter ever. Daily Mail, you know it. Oh.
Okay. Cancer.
Yeah, get the blankets out. We're all going to die.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it will kill the Daily Mail's readers. That'd be the best thing.
Wow, that sounds like win-win to me.
Yeah.
And finally, a wise old man once said to me, "Scrap that. He can tell you himself." It's David, Mr. Coonaholic. Hello, David.
Good evening, Mr. Gim. How the devil are you?
Yeah, no offence meant with the old, but you are a very wise man.
Don't worry, I think it's fairly common knowledge. I'm no longer in the first flush of youth.
But wisdom does come with age, so, you know, swings and roundabouts.
That may be your opinion. We'll see. We'll let the poor sods out there make their mind up later, eh?
Oh, definitely. Right then, we'll kick on. And first up, we will go to Danny, who has all of the scores across the board. An injury watch, but no loan watch.
No loan watch because I've been busy. And
in bed.
And yeah, the offspring was in Hong Kong, and I couldn't say to her, "No, piss off, I'm not talking to you." So she's waiting for her plane, and then she'll be back at Gatwick this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, I mean. I don't know. Good job I'm not picking her up. I once went to pick Sexy Frank up from Luton Airport, and when I got to Stansted, he wasn't there.
Is he sexy?
He what?
Sexy Frank, what?
Sexy Frank. That's what the girls at the hairdressers called him, Sexy Frank. It's a long story.
Is he sexy? Confirm or deny?
He's a fucking good-looking bloke.
Wow.
Yes.
It's got to be said it if you've said it.
Yes, righto. So we'll start off with the Utes. Although we beat Basel convincingly, they come to us and they beat us 2-1. They were 1-0 up, and then we equalised with Dragomir, and then the 90th minute we gave away a penalty. which is silly. So there you go. That's in the Youth Champions League thingy, malarkey. And then in the what's this one? This is the under-18s. Oh, an astonishing win. Beat Leicester 5-0. I think in that league we were top, and now we're top, which is fantastic. Eddie Nikita got a hat trick. This is on the 24th. Yeah, so he's scored loads of goals this season. He's one to keep an eye out for. And McGuane scored McGuane, Guane. How do you say that? McGuane? Go on, you will. That's it.
McLovin.
That's it. And Dragomir. Did he score in the other one? Yeah, good week for Dragomir. Scored a couple of goals. But then most impressive, you know, our under-23s are shit. And the only reason they're not going down is because I think Leicester and one other team in the league are below them, because we only just got promoted. We only went to Chelsea and beat them 2-1. I know. Unbelievable, Jeff. And Nelson scored, and Stefan Mavidi scored, so that's fantastic. So that's, I think, our second win of the season. We might not get relegated back to Division 1. And quickly, a little bit of a injury update. Aaron Ramsey, the Welsh legend, and don't say anything bad about him, Steve, because you know how much it annoys Jason. And you accused him of saying, well, no, Ramsey hasn't been at the games, and then he said, oh, I'm going to have to sort this out, and he sent you a picture of Ramsey at the game.
Yeah, but he said fuck all since. He's probably sitting there hoping he's going to get called by Barcelona. If he does, it'll be the tourism department.
Oh, anyway, he's back any day now from his hamstring injury. I'm getting all this information from ArsenalReport.com, so wonderful site. And Coquelin, we all know Jace loves a bit of Coquelin. He's they said 2 weeks, knee injury, non-specific. Big pair, 2 months, knee injury, non-specific, and then Danny, I play a game and I'm out for a year, Welbeck, 4 months, meniscus tear. And there you go, that's it.
Wow, that was straight to the point, wasn't it?
It's like my mother, it's short and sweet.
Okay, well, we'll kick off properly by dissecting the first of 2 games we have to discuss tonight. Arsenal 3, Chelsea 0. Andrew, give us your thoughts on what was an incredible game.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming to me first. I always appreciate you coming to me first, Gimli.
That's quite all right.
I thought it was an absolutely fantastic game. It was one of those. I think I put it in the group and then I put it in the pod. It might be a controversial view, but for me, it's definitely the best performance I've seen from Arsenal over the course of 90 minutes since we actually moved to the Emirates. It was fantastic. We absolutely battered Chelsea and we dominated them from not only from start to finish, but from the back to the top of the team. We were excellent throughout. I've never seen us, play with such precision and such perfection in such a big game before. I know we played very well against Man United at home last year, but it felt like we probably took our foot off the gas after a certain period of time. Whereas, we really could and should have won 7 or 8-0 on the weekend. We were tactically superior. Theo Walcott, I'm not sure what's happened to him, but I think something there was like he made 42 touches in the first half alone, against Chelsea, whereas he only made 17 touches in the entire game at Man United away at Old Trafford last season. So we've immediately seen such a huge improvement in that team. They're stable at the back. Mustafi and Koscielny completely bossed Costa, who, there was a lot of people after the game saying, well, yeah, it was down to Chelsea being crap. But if you look at it, I'm pretty sure Costa was the top goal scorer in the league going to that game. Hazard was completely nullified by Theo and Iwobi doubling up on him, and then Alexis up top and with Ozil feeding with it. They were inspirational, and it's one of those where if we can keep this run of form going until Christmas, we're looking very well at the moment. We started off the season pretty ropey, and the players are finally starting to settle now. It's a little bit of a shame that Coquelin got injured, but my word, how good does Xhaka look when he was on the ball, and just his range of movement and passing was unbelievable, and it was an insane atmosphere, and the players delivered for once against Chelsea. That's what I said in the morning. It wasn't about whether you're Wenger in or Wenger out or how long Wenger's been there. The whole game was about let's get this 6-year hoodoo off our back of not being able to beat Chelsea. We haven't scored against them in 6 games, for Christ's sake, and so it was really important they went out there and put that shift in that performance. And an older Arsenal team would have gone out there and drawn that game 0-0 or lost 1-0 to a dodgy decision, but they really blew Chelsea away, and every single one of those players really stepped up, and they made the fans proud.
Definitely so. And Steve, do you think performances like that, because the whole team were incredible? I mean, you couldn't pick out a star performer, you couldn't pick out a passenger. They were just all incredible on the day. But do you think performances like that give them the confidence to think, yeah, we can do something this season?
I think you look at it from another point of perspective. You look at how distraught Chelsea players were afterwards. If you look at the face of Ivanovic and Hazard and Matic, looked at those players, they knew that they'd been destroyed, and I think that's going to have a big impact on their morale. I think, yeah, it does give players a big boost. But Andrew hit the nail on the head. They got one monkey off of their back about a team that they couldn't beat. They obviously really prepared for it. They obviously really decided to go, the whole 9 yards and really put the whole thing in for 90 minutes. I mean, whether it was Mustafi passing, hunting up the pitch for Costa, robbing the ball from him, whether it was Cost, showing people out, or whether it was, Coquelin hunting high up the pitch to intercept the ball. The ball was, passed through the lines well, and they controlled the game. At no point in that game were they ever, in real fear of any danger. And I think that showed last night when they played against Basel as well. So yeah, I think it does. But I think a very interesting thing. I mean, I've not been Walcott's biggest fan, and I've slated him for going missing and being lazy. But one thing I have noticed is Walcott's after the summer, he's become a lot more physical. He's actually fouling the opposition now. Walcott's actually barging people out of play. He's barging people off the ball. He's actually trying to inflict psychological damage on them by robbing the ball and backheeling through their legs, which he did to a Chelsea player. And he's really seeking the ball all the time. I think the fact that he's got covering Hector Bellerin well is good, but he seems to have got some confidence somewhere that he can do this now, and he's becoming a rampant menace, which is good because defenders hate that.
They certainly do. I think he came out before the Champions League game and he said that he just completely changed the way he looked at football, how he read the game. And for me, it's nice to see him trying to chase the ball for a change, putting in tackles, like you said, Steve. He looks a completely different player. David, we'll come to you next. And what I want to talk to you about is the link-up play between Ozil and Sanchez, and at times Theo as well. It's on another level, isn't it?
Certainly is. And actually last night, it wasn't so much Ozil at the start of it, but it was Theo and Alexis who were causing most of the damage in the opening phase of play last night. But going back to the Chelsea game, Steve, I think, made the point there that you couldn't single out a single man of the match. And I think I watched 3 different programmes afterwards where 3 different players did get that award. And I don't know how you sort of isolate anybody. Last night was probably obvious because of the 2 goals from Theo. But I thought on Saturday you just couldn't single anybody out. I thought all 11 did the job that they had to do. Even when you think about Cech not having an awful lot to do against his old club, there was the break from Batshuayi in the second half, the substitute, when he stood tall until the last minute and made the save, when that was really the only chance Chelsea had. So I think all round they're excellent. Yes, Alexis and Ozil are producing some wonderful stuff, but let's not overlook what Theo's adding to that as well. And Alex Iwobi. I think we've got a front 4 that's absolutely scaring the living daylights out of everyone who's coming up to play us, I think. But whether we can keep that going at that pace, at that intensity, let's hope so, because it's bloody fun to watch.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we talk about the offensive style of play that we have in our offensive players, but I think under the radar goes, our defensive players. For me, against Chelsea, Bellerin was absolutely phenomenal on the overlap with Theo. They complemented each other perfectly, and that seems to me like it seems like everything's clicking, doesn't it, Danny?
Oh, it's a thing of beauty, and I keep thinking it's going to go wrong at some point. And I was saying on the radio show yesterday, and I think Chris has managed to wangle me into doing 3 of those things in a row. It's almost like I've got pod fever. I've been shaking like a shitting dog when I'm not on, so I think I need to go on some cold turkey. Anyway, so I was making the point, which is the only decent point about football I've ever made in my entire life, that when you have Iwobi who can play up front, he can play Iwobi, Sanchez, and Walcott. Any of them can interchange with each other. If you see me pointing, then you know the kind of movement that I'm on about. Then they can swap around. So if you're a defender, then you're going to be thinking, well, normally if we play with Giroud, then they go, right, you take Giroud, you mark Giroud. But they can't, because Sanchez will drift into where Ozil is. Ozil will drift out wide. Iwobi will come up front, or then Walcott will come in. And then you'll be thinking, well, we can't do man to man, because otherwise sometimes you'll be tracking Sanchez and your central defender will be out on our left wing, and so you can't do that. So then you think, well, maybe we'll do zone zonal marking. Well, to do zonal marking, that means you can run off and your defender isn't going to go with you because he has to stick with his zone. So I don't know how Wenger has thought up of this idea of like a roaming. We've got 3 roaming strikers. I mean, maybe Ozil a little bit can go up front as well if he wants. But I noticed against Chelsea, the thing that impressed me most was we absolutely hammered them down the right-hand side. Bellerin has now... Remember a couple of years ago, Bellerin was our player that used to attack down the right-hand side, and then it almost seemed like last season Bellerin was told, look, stay back more, do more defending. But this season, it's like, no, you go ahead, son, off you go. And then when he does, Mustafi will then go into the right-hand side, and the rest of the defence will move along a little bit, or Coquelin will come and cover them, or Xhaka will cover every single player, because a bloke is an absolute legend in the making. But to ruin... As per unannounced number Welekata on the left-hand side for Chelsea, and Hazard. I mean, Hazard to get a 6.1 and Fabregas to get a 5.8 Opta rating. We just absolutely ruined them. And I think, like Steve was saying, the look on their faces after, it's almost like they're all crying. And that's the first time in I can't even remember the last time that we absolutely hammered them. I know we beat them 5-3 at their place. I think it was at their place, but that was just one of them games, like with our 4-3 loss to Liverpool at the beginning of the season. It's one of those mental games that can go any way. But this game was just an absolute 100% perfect game. And then I think they thought they might have got back into it. Costa was made to look like a tool for the entire game. Fabregas went off with a face like a smacked arse. And Kante, the bloke who's going to meant to be coming there to save in Chelsea, he might as well have not been on the pitch. And that
The ref outrun him for the second goal.
And and have you mentioned the Ozil no look pass yet?
Oh no, I haven't. But I was
Go on, then.
I was going to mention the Bellerin tackle when Pedro had about 2 or 3 yards on him, and they were countering us, and he would just legged it back and made the most sublime tackle. And it's like, our defence is actually pretty good for a change. I'm actually quite liking our defence. But yeah, the no-look pass. Steve, talk us through the no-look pass. It was a thing of beauty, wasn't it?
Don't say he passed without looking.
No, I think it's just one of those. I mean, Ozil seems to be at the moment. He's got a thing where he certain players, obviously, he selects them for sort of like disrespect and showing them his vast repertoire of outrageous tricks and wares. And I thought that was quite amusing that he did a no-look pass as he went past the Arsenal bench and sort of had a smile at Arsene Wenger as he did it, and then legged it off up the pitch. But Chelsea were, there was a couple of no-look passes by Ozil. There was one by Sanchez. There was a backheel nutmeg on somebody that Walcott did. I mean, all those things, they for people think, oh yeah, it's childish, it's skills, it's it's showboating, but that really grates for professionals, believe you me. If you got nutmegged in a game of that magnitude, your teammates are going to take the piss out of you on that. That's going to be in the Christmas party highlights reel at the end of the year. You won't want it to be seeing that. And Ozil just seems to thrive on ruining people. And in that game, you had Ozil one side ruining people, Iwobi the other side ending careers and sending people down to White Hart Lane for takeaways. It was just incredible. Iwobi's feet, I mean, his feet are nearly as fast as Sugar Ray Leonard's fists.
Oh, and the turn of pace on him as well. It's just, there's so many positives coming from this Arsenal squad at the moment. It's impossible not to smile. Is there anything else anybody wanted to talk about the Chelsea game in general? Anything you think we haven't discussed that you want to say about Ozil? Well, we could do an Ozil watch. Just if anyone noticed after he scored that goal, he tapped the badge, and we all know we're all fans. When a player does that, it just fills you with warmth, doesn't it? And it just seems like Ozil is really enjoying his football at the moment. Danny, let's have an Ozil watch.
He got man of the match. He got an Opta rating of, I've moved it now, I think it was either a 9. I'll have a look in a minute. It's either 9.1 or 8.8. I'm on a different screen. Pass success rate of 90%. He had accurate passes 65 out of 72, and 3 of those were key passes. Possession, he had 6.9%. I'm not sure. I mean, does that mean the entire game? And touches, he had 93 touches, which is he got an Opta rating of 8.75. So I think they rounded that up to 8.8. He had 1 shot, 3 dribbles, 2 tackles, and he took 4 corners, and it was absolutely immense and quiet. Why is that saying he got a 6.9 there? I don't know. So there you go. Very good. You still
Whereabouts
there?
did he get man of the match?
Where?
Yeah, who gave him that? Do you remember?
Opta give him man of the match
Oh, okay.
with an 8.8, and the nearest one to him was Sanchez with an 8.4, Koscielny with an 8.1, and Bellerin only got a 7.9, as did Walcott. So and Iwobi only got a
Really?
7. I think during the game they gave Iwobi man of the match, didn't they? But his
Yeah.
Opta rating was only a 7, so I think it was mainly for his
Yeah,
passion.
I was surprised that because I mean, I obviously was at the ground, so but I was very surprised about Iwobi getting man of the match. Don't get me wrong, I thought he had a very good game, but the only one bit of criticism about him, I'd say, is that in the first half, Willian was left open free several times. So on the right hand side in front of me, Walcott was clearly backtracking with Bellerin. Bellerin made a couple of mistakes in the first 20 minutes. He was left himself exposed, and I think Wenger had a word with Theo, and Theo really supported Bellerin in the first half of the second half, as it were. But on the other side, Iwobi kind of left his man a few times, and Nacho Monreal was doubled up on. And then it started in the second half in front of us. I don't know if you noticed, Iwobi looked absolutely gassed coming out into the second half. He looked knackered from the start of the second half, and so they brought him off after about 60 minutes because it was happening again. And so he brought on Gibbs, who I thought came on, doubled up with Nacho Monreal, offered more stability on that left-hand side. And Gibbs looked fantastic. He was playing like bloody Ronaldinho when he came on. Both him and Walcott pulled out some skills which I didn't even know they had in their locker, or didn't even think they knew existed, let alone know how to execute on those, which was great to see. But I think overall, coping with the injury of Coquelin, last year if he came off, Flamini would have come on. So it just kind of shows, the improvement we've made there in the summer. Mustafi at the back was, fantastic. That bullying Costa off the ball and just letting him know who was boss. And as you said, Fabregas honestly didn't even realise he was playing for large parts of the first half, which was a testament just how bad he was and how great we were. I think, Ozil's now, as Kim says, he's really enjoying his football. And it's really excellent to see those guys in action.
Definitely so. Right then, we'll draw a line under that one. Like I said, all with big smiles on our faces, and we'll move on to our next game, which is Basel at home, and that was a 2-0 win on the night. Xhaka came in to replace Koch. Steve, how did he... Oh, actually, we'll go to David. How do you think Xhaka did on the night?
Thought he played very well. Played within himself early on. I thought he was being very disciplined and looking after the back four, because the way that the Basel started, it looked as though they were going to play a high pressing game and give us no time in which to put our game together. But very quickly we got the passing going, and I think then they realised that they were in for a long night. The first goal was 6 minutes or something, Theo, set up by Alexis Sanchez, which was kind of amusing because in the Chelsea game the roles were reversed and Theo chipped it too high for Alexis. But he got that first goal. It was excellent. The second one, you just have to say, the interplay that set it all up. And then in the end, it was Alexis that gave him the final ball. Those two at that opening 13 minutes were, I thought, unplayable. When you look at the rest of the evening, how we didn't get 7 or 8, I do not know. Anybody who was there would be absolutely mystified. We absolutely slaughtered them. And the performance, again, was a joy to watch. And the biggest thing about it is actually the atmosphere around the place. I mean, it was electric on Saturday, but last night, I wasn't actually there last night, but you could hear on the television how much better, how much happier everybody is. Really good to see. But let's hope we can keep it going.
Did you see that Gav actually tweeted something positive about Arsenal last night?
Did he really?
It was shocking. It's almost like somebody had hacked him.
What did he tweet?
He said he enjoyed the game. It was great to watch.
Oh, fuck off. He didn't, did he?
Yeah, Danny had to pull him. He said, have you been hacked?
Did we want our Gav back? Out, foul demon.
Bring him back.
Drutter's gone on a long holiday. Wow. But no, we'll continue to talk about Theo Walcott. And how can you put it? He was phenomenal again. He weighed in with a brace. He was about everywhere. Danny, the emergence of Theo Walcott, what do you make about it? Because it normally seems like we're talking about him when it's only bad, and we haven't said a bad word about him tonight.
Yeah, someone did a one of those stat tweets, and they said in the entire time that that people have stayed at the club, so this might be slightly off, that the player with the most number of goals and the most number of assists, that means you had to have been at the club for, like, you couldn't have like Ronaldo because he's not there anymore, or you couldn't have Sterling's whole career because he was part of Liverpool, now he's at City, so it only would have counted the City bit. And I think Walcott was top of that list and clear, quite a load clear of anybody else. And I remember thinking, well, that shows that he scored a lot of goals. But there again, this is his 11th season with us. I know his first season, because he's the only player at the club who was with a player while we were at Highbury. He didn't play at Highbury, but we signed him in the January transfer window of our last season there. And I don't think he played a single game there, but that's just how long he has been there. But I said at the beginning of the season, I mentioned this on the radio show last night, so bear with me if you already heard it. I've actually had people getting my old tweets and screen grabbing them and telling me off for it, because like I said, Theo, I remember you're a Liverpool fan, and when he did a picture of him doing weights, I said, does that help you jump out of the way of 50-50 tackles? And I've just been merciless on him, because everybody was fed up with him. But everyone knows that my three favourite players that I want to do well at the club is Wilshere, the Ox, and Theo, because they're homegrown boys. I know we got them from Southampton, but they were young at the time. And I said this season all the players start with a clean sheet for me, because you can't take over from what you did last season if you had a bad season to this season, because quite often players turn it around. I actually made a point of twice saying during shows that Theo Walcott that includes him, and I hope that he does it, because there's not an Arsenal fan out there that isn't happy to see Theo Walcott doing what he's doing. 5 goals in 7 games, it's absolutely immense, and he's playing with gay abandon, if there is such a thing in the footballing world. Gay, he doesn't care. He's got his sling back wellies on. He's got a bit of straw in his hair, and he's jogging down the right wing, and he's playing a hell of a game. And I think it's partly because before he wanted to be a striker, and now he's going to want to be a winger. But at the moment, the position he's playing, he is part striker, part winger. So that's the perfect solution. And I think they're doing the same with Iwobi as well, and with Sanchez. And it's just fantastic to see.
With Walcott, I think it's interesting that in the summer, he kind of came out and he flip-flopped again. So obviously a couple of years ago he said, I want to play centre forward. And for about 3 or 4 years now he's been saying publicly he wants to play centre forward, and it's played a big part of his contract renegotiation when it was the whole sign the ting stuff. And, he's only going to sign if he got assurances he would play up front. And then this summer he kind of came out and said, actually, I want to play right wing again. And it was quite interesting because Wenger publicly said, no, you're not good enough to play on the wing because you have these deficiencies in your games. And actually publicly, I haven't got these to hand, but he publicly stated what deficiencies he felt Theo had in his game which prevented him from being a top quality winger. And yet Wenger didn't go out and sign another right winger. And, he's clearly, put Alexis there with the intention that Alexis is going to be the centre forward. So in my mind, it was always clear that Walcott was going to be the right winger. So it was kind of interesting, whether Wenger was using the press to motivate out of Theo this improvement in him, because you never see Wenger publicly criticise a player. Not since Nelson Vivas in 1999 apparently was the last time he ever did it. So it's really interesting to see how Theo's come on, and he's already scored 5 goals this season, which is more than 50% of his total goal tally from last season. And so it's.
Well, where do you think, of course, Andrew, that Sanchez playing through the middle, Walcott playing up front, slightly right wing? What do you think that does to Lucas Perez?
I mean, I think he's not rushing Perez into the team at all, as far as I can see. I think he's very happy with Sanchez as our main centre forward for the big games and for all league games and Champions League games, and then seeing how it goes with Perez. And I think with Arsenal we have to be open to the idea, and we pretty much we're resigned to the fact that there's going to be some major injuries. I think, and I said this on transfer deadline day, in terms of squad depth, we're good apart from on the wings. So if you look now, Sanchez is the centre forward, which only really leaves you with 3 wide players in Iwobi, who's still young and lacks fitness, Chamberlain, who's very, hot and cold, who's not been good now for quite some seasons, and Walcott, who's been playing brilliant this season, but don't get me wrong, he's a very injury-prone player, and so there's going to be space, I think, for Perez. There will be space, and with his versatility, I think Wenger's keen on that. I would like to see him play centre forward a little bit more in some when he gets the opportunity, because we saw him there against Nottingham Forest, and he did very well. But I think at the moment, this is probably his first choice 11, what we're saying right now, which is brilliant, because it's very rare that we get to see this because of how maligned with injuries we are. But I don't think it's going to be very long until we see Mr. Perez and a few others making some regular first team starts.
Let's hope so. Steve, I know you wanted to interject with that.
Yeah, I think Perez has got one advantage, and that is he doesn't play in internationals, and I'm afraid that the dreaded international fucking break is on us. Pointless fucking qualifiers for a tournament that's 2 or 3 years away, but they're going to take place, and that means that most of our team are going to be jetting off to play in either friendlies or to play in qualifiers. And the problem is that Sanchez never misses a Chile game, and his flights, if they're playing at home, are long flights, and when he comes back, he's not ready to play. So Perez will get a chance, and I think Perez has been bought more for the fast number 9 who's got some Vardy-esque qualities, but not the UKIP-y, druggy, chavvy bastard, racist shit qualities, but the pace, deadly finisher thing. I mean, we saw. I think we saw about his abilities against Forest. What impressed me against Forest, okay, it's not in a Forest, but that goal he scored took some fighting to get the ball. He's got some physical ability in his upper body for a guy his size to fight and win that ball off a defender, and then to finish it like that. That was, really some goal. So I think it's inevitable we will get some injuries, but with Walcott, I think against Basel he had a great game because he was prepared to put the work in. He was hassling the guy that was trying to get down the wing to get at the person behind Theo. He was the guy who was marking Walcott. He had him in his back pocket, and he was hopeless. And everything he did went right. And when that happens, it's a great boost to your confidence. That's what he needs. What he doesn't need is being picked for England. He needs to be kept out of the England side, because that's where the source of all Theo's injuries have come from. I'm afraid that's if I've got. I love any player that comes back from the dead or comes back from an injury and reinvents himself and does well, and I think it's great what he's doing. I hope he learns from the past where he's rushed coming back from injury too quickly to go off and play for England, and he's gone on England duty and got injured, and Arsenal paid the price for it. And I think he owes Arsenal big style. He's brilliant at the moment. We want to see it kept up, so he needs to keep injury free. But I think a big key to this was in the summer, as Andrew was saying. He got that criticism for Arsenal, but he even hired his own personal trainer, and he was doing like a full training session in the summer. He had no time off. He didn't go anywhere. He had no time off. He was training every day, which is quite impressive.
No, that's very true. David, we'll come to you. And what were your overall thoughts on the game in general? Do you think we kept up the intensity? Did it worry you that maybe we weren't as good in the second half that we were in the first? Or overall, were you grinning like a Cheshire cat?
Nah, the latter, definitely. I thought we kept it going through all 90 minutes, and you have to look at how busy that goalkeeper was last night, Vaslik. He was outstanding, and you could see the evening that he was having by his last save, because I think Alexis got one at the far post that finally got on target, and the goalkeeper stopped it with his bollocks, basically. And that kind of summed up his night. He was going to get something in the way of everything. But I thought we just kept it going for 90 minutes. On another night, we would have had 7 or 8. But, that goalkeeper, and they had a little bit of luck as well. But it'll be interesting to see if we can do the same thing away from home to them, when perhaps they'll be encouraged to come out and have a bit more of a go at us. But if we get off to a quick start out there, yes, we can do it to them again.
And did you see David Theo... not Theo Walcott, it seems like we've talked about him loads tonight. Alexis Sanchez, when he missed that opportunity where it got the goalkeeper in the taters, and he kicked the advertising hoardings, didn't he? Nice to see a player just fucking showing some passion.
I think last night, you look at the chances that he had, and not to have got one of them got in, it was one of those nights for him, wasn't it? But you couldn't fault his performance in any way other than perhaps the finishing. He just couldn't get the bloody thing round Basel at all.
And Steve, that's 2 brilliant performances for this week. We couldn't be happier, could we? I know we're going to do a new segment of this podcast, which is only a small one, but me and Danny talked about it the other week, which we will release to everybody in a second. But overall, as an Arsenal fan, you happy this week?
Yeah, I'm happy. Why not? I mean, and if you look at our fixtures, they're pretty all winnable. Touch wood. There's a bit of trickery in there with Swansea, who are always a pain in the arse for us. But there's no reason why we can't go unbeaten until we have to play Middlesex. Hopefully hopefully all their players will get ruined on England duty, especially when any Arsenal players are playing against them, give them a good kicking. So yeah, very happy.
Good. Right, this new segment then. Me and Danny spoke about it, and what we want to do is we want to gauge how happy you are about Arsenal this week. So if you're not very happy, it would be like a 2.5 out of 10.
You're not very happy and you know it, just clap your hands type, Bruce.
But if you are happy, like give them, if you couldn't be happier, give them a 10, 7.5, 8.5. We get it. So I'll go through you guys now and just ask you, how happy are you about Arsenal this week? Danny, let's start with you.
Oh dear. I'm going to go. How could I be any happier? We're 16 games unbeaten in the league. 1 loss in 16 in the league. Nearly got that wrong. That'd have been embarrassing. I think I'm going to go 8.4.
Ooh, that's very good.
Yes.
Very good indeed.
Most of that is down to Theo though, and just Sanchez, and just been brilliant. And yeah.
Okay, David.
Is he muted?
He must be. Andrew. We'll go back to David.
Well, within the context of this week, it's got to be a 10, hasn't it? 2 wins, 5 goals, 0 goals conceded. There's literally nothing you can be displeased about.
True.
No, that's very, very true.
And beat Chelsea.
Steve?
I think I was being a bit mean.
I would say 9.
That's fair. And David, he's typing.
What's he typing?
Unmuted, idiot man.
You weren't supposed to read it out.
Sorry, I keep doing that. Gimli said, we were asking about the cat. He went, you fucking idiot, you're not meant to tell us typing it. No news on the cat, though, by the way, I found out.
Boo. Never mind. I'm going to join Steve with a 9, if that's okay. And I'm basing that not just on this last week, but since we got the draw in Paris, and how on earth we got that, I still don't know. But we've come back from there. They've gone to Hull and scored 4, gone to Nottingham Forest and scored 4, 3 at home to Chelsea, 2 the other night. Both of those games could have been 7 or 8. I think the football that we're playing, someone mentioned the Manchester United game last season as a kind of comparative to the Chelsea performance, but we didn't follow that up, and it looks as though we've put together 4 games. We've found a system that's working for us. Let's hope we can make that 6 games, 7 games, 8 games, rather than drop back again. I'm being thoroughly positive. Definitely 9 from me. I think we're outstanding at the moment.
Definitely.
I think so I'm definitely going to go with 10. And the only slight criticism I'd say is, and I know Dave picked up on it earlier, ruthlessness. And the reason I picked that up is, so Man U last year we were 3-0 up at half time, and we came out and clearly, visibly, we took our foot off the gas, which was fine because we were 3-0 up and we were so superior. But against Chelsea, it was the same. We came out. It was different. Sorry, I mean we came out and we were really going for it in the second half, which is great to see. Don't get me wrong, but there was a few chances where we should have scored, and it was the same last night. Alexis, he was brilliant, but there was a few times really he should be putting the ball into the top beanbag. And the only thing that concerns me about that is we've seen so many times, and in one way it's why I applaud taking Giroud out of the team, is because he's too much of a nearly player. He's one of those guys who's obviously a great footballer, but he tries so many things which nearly which nearly come off but don't. And what worries me with Arsenal last night, we're 2-0 up and we're cruising, actually, if you look at the opportunities, Basel had 2 very good chances to score. So you had the long-haired guy, the blonde guy in midfield, Bjornsson, number 8. He put a 25-yard shot. He was, Iwobi's left him and not tracked him down as per usual, and he's asked a question into the top corner, and Ospina's made a bloody good save. And then about 5 minutes later, from a corner, they really should have scored again. And and if that was, Arsenal of last season, we would have come away with that, 2-2. And again with the Chelsea game, okay, we cruised, we battered them, but still, you want to see us take those chances, regardless of what the score is. We need to be ruthless. We need to keep that up because, it isn't unexpected for Arsenal to now, to go and draw a game 0-0 where we've absolutely dominated a team and had 15 chances denied. We just need to make sure that's something we maintain or we improve on that clinicalness. And for these wins, which are brilliant, we know how Arsenal can be, and so I think that's something we need to continue to improve on.
I think for me, it's got to be a 9.5. I think, like, if I look at the Chelsea game last year, and we spoke about that Bellerin tackle earlier in the show, last year, Pedro picks up the ball, 3 yards clear, he goes on and he puts it in the back of the net. This year, Bellerin tracks him, tackles him, and we go again. I think I know it's very early to be positive, but if you're judging on what we see in front of us, there's very little to be negative about. It's actually nice to go on Twitter and see some positivity from our fans, and let's build on that. Let's scream for the players. Let's support them. Let's just show gratitude for the performances that they're giving us. For me, 9.5. The only reason it's not a 10 is because I'm a little bit disappointed that Francis Coquelin got injured.
Danny,
I'll tell you what,
go on.
We haven't seen Gunnosaurus all season either, have we?
Where's he gone?
No.
I don't know. Maybe he's been on loan somewhere, but he's not made an appearance as far as I've seen.
He was there. He was there against Chelsea. That's for sure.
Oh, was he giving it large? Was he?
Yeah. Oh, he sits in front of me when he unsheathes himself.
He used to come and touch me at Highbury.
Did he really? I don't know quite how else to put it. How do you get out of an 8-foot dinosaur costume?
You don't. It's a real thing, David. What are you on about?
Backwards.
Sorry, kids. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I see.
Dinosaurus and Father Christmas are for real.
Yes, they
Do you know
definitely
what? Two
are.
things
I was
I
going
never
to say
thought I'd hear on...
in the. Also, Karen Gimli.
No, I was going to say 2 things I'd never think I'd hear on this podcast: gay abandon and unsheathes. But wonderful, Andrew.
This is in the build-up to the game. So for all of last week, I had pretty bad man flu. I had tonsils as my testicles, and I was feeling really sorry for myself before the game. And I was in the pub with the lads, no alcohol, and I was feeling pretty drowsy. And I was supposed to come home for a chili con carne that night. But obviously, after that winning performance, I was straight down the Che Guevara pub for a couple of lagers, celebrating. It was a brilliant atmosphere, and I've never seen the Arsenal fans so united in such a long time. And that's the kind of performances we live on. I really like that. I know we talk about the 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Sometimes it's not great, especially when you're playing Hull on a Saturday night away. But I tell you what, when you get a London derby at home on a 5:30 on a Saturday, it's great. The last one I remember was when we beat Spurs in the FA Cup back in January a couple of years ago, and Danny Rose slipped up. That was brilliant as well. Such a great atmosphere as well.
Gimli, I misunderstood when we were talking about this. I thought it was our happiness rating overall for the season. If it's for the week, I'm giving it a 9.
Okay.
It's for the week, isn't it?
It is for
Not
the week.
so far this season.
No.
Okay, yeah,
No.
so we're giving it a 9 as well then. That's an average rating of 9.3.
Because what you should do is you should do an average for the guests that week.
Yes.
And then you should do a little graph about how happy we've been and how miserable we are. Because no doubt the misery will return at some point.
Of course it will.
I mean...
Did you guys also see one thing that really made me happy on the weekend was Xhaka picked up the ball in the second half about 35 yards out from goal, and all the Arsenal fans shouted shoot, and he actually shot and knocked it into row Z, and Arsene Wenger stood up and started screaming at him. It was brilliant to see.
It truly was. Danny.
Yes.
It's that time for some listener questions.
Oh, very good. Right, we've had some very good questions as usual. Chris Nielsen, do we have the best defence in the league now? Kostafi, as I think they're calling them, as a wonderful pairing, look so solid, or are too quick to or are we too quick to praise us? Sometimes people have to fit this into one tweet, so they abbreviate words. And hey, what, Steve? You heavy breathing again?
Yeah, it's that time of the year.
Oh,
Got a bit of heavy
that's one way.
breathing.
Lovely.
One way of describing it.
While
Oh,
we've
dear.
got you, if you feel free to answer that question from Chris.
I think Mustafi's he was described to me by Polish football commentators as the best possible defender that Arsenal could buy, and the reason for that was that his reading of the game is superb, and that he's a proactive defender that prefers to go up the pitch and rip the ball off of his man early. And his distribution of the ball, his reading of the game is brilliant. I think what he's done is he's provided Koscielny with a formidable partner. Those two have become almost like a wall in front of the keeper. They're back there, whether they've got Coquelin in front of them or Xhaka there. They've got the ability to, be able to deal with oncoming play, but also Mustafi's very good. If you notice, he's telling people to go and stand by him, get ball something, don't stand there. He's organising people at the back, and one of the key things to me, what he does is he's passing through the lines with the ball, so you can see, forwards trying to press the back four, trying to stop the ball being distributed out to, say, Cazorla or to Xhaka. And Mustafi's just coming out with the ball and he's bypassing it because he's picking a pass out and picking out Iwobi on the wing, or he's picking out even, someone slightly higher up the midfield. His pass is very accurate. It's very good. So, yeah, the defence is very good. And this is one thing is, as they become more and more used to each other and they get more and more familiar with how each other play, it's going to get better and better.
Anyone else want to have a little tickle on that, or should I move on to another question because we've got about 12?
No, move on to another one.
Oh.
Give a question a person, unless it's something that anyone wants to be.
This is why you run this shit, and I just.
Also, it's because FIFA 17 is calling my name downstairs, so hurry this shit on.
It's almost as if you could read what Issa has told me. Tell me what you think of FIFA 17. For the first time in years, I'm not hyped to get the new FIFA. Well, from me, I bought FIFA 16. I played it for a few months, and like our very own bearded wonder, John Welsh, I haven't played it this year. That's how bored I got with FIFA. The same old shit, just restructured, and it just annoys me. Gimli, what do you think about it? And you're the only person I'll ask.
I think it's amazing.
Why is it better than last year's?
This new thing with Hunter, with Hunter, that I started playing, it's just addictive. Where he starts off as a kid taking the penalty, and then you get him through to another club. I'm shit, so I got sent out on loan to Newcastle, and I scored in my debut game, and now I'm a bit shit again, and I haven't scored, and I just want to go back and play it really. But the gameplay is totally different. I personally think it's better. It's taken some while to get used to. The tackling's particularly difficult. I haven't had many red cards, but there's been a few. But no, all in all, I think it's an improvement on last year's edition, and it's very enjoyable, and I'm addicted. So let's have our next question.
But before we move on, what isn't this FIFA 17, little Gimli? If the kiddies are listening, what isn't it?
What isn't it?
What does Jeff say?
I don't know.
About FIFA, you tit.
Oh.
It's not real life, is it?
Oh, well, it is, because there's that Hunter kid that I'm sad.
No, it isn't real life. And little spotty cunts sat in their pants who sit there playing it all night should not be on Twitter wasting their mummy's internet talking utter fucking shit that they found out playing it.
Yeah.
I think is what Jeff meant.
Okay. Right, a question for David from Fred Thurbin. At the start of the season, would you have taken 4 points from the Liverpool, Leicester and Chelsea games? Not that anyone has ever done that, and not that it's ever going to happen, but people like to ask this question. What do you think?
No, quite honestly. I thought we came into the season, all right, we didn't have everybody available on day one, which was unfortunate against Liverpool, but nonetheless, I think we still had enough of a side there to have done a job on them that day, and we clearly didn't. I would maybe have accepted, before we knew how we were going to play on Saturday, a point at home to Chelsea, because we know what our record has been like against them. So maybe I'd have settled for 7, but not 4, no.
If everyone else is you three, no, you two and me, how many points would you have settled for? Personally, I'd have settled for a draw with Liverpool at home, a draw with Chelsea and beating Leicester, so I'd have settled for 5.
It's worth making the point that the week after Liverpool had mugged us at home, they lost at Burnley.
No, four's not good enough from those 3 games. Let's be honest. We should be getting at least a point off of Chelsea. We should be beating Leicester, and we should be beating Liverpool. So I'm with David on this one, 7. Yeah.
Gimli?
Yeah, I probably think 7 as well.
Steve?
I would say 7.
Oh, good. Well, there you go. So, Fred? No is the answer. Right, this one to Mr. Fife. Are you listening and unmuted?
Maybe.
Right, this is from Matt Dahlstrom. I can say that for some unknown reason. It looks Scandinavian and I can pronounce those things. No idea why. He says, is the added depth leading to the better conversion rate due to freshness and squad competition?
I mean, that's a very good question. Potentially, I mean, we have got more depth, but in terms of are we converting better because of that, I'm not 100% sure, because we seem to be playing the same players pretty much week in, week out now. I think Wenger's found his preferred front four of Ozil, Iwobi, and Walcott, and we haven't seen too much, change that. I know we had Chamberlain away at PSG, but I think a lot of the conversion improvement in that has come down to the fact that Alexis is now playing centre forward, Walcott's upped his game, Giroud isn't playing whatsoever, and he brought us. So I think that's what we're seeing. I do think over time improvement improvement in squad competition will help. Although I think if you look at the base level, the improvement in the real competition has come in that core and in holding midfield and centre back. I'm not sure Perez is going to offer too much competition too early, because I think Wenger's going to want to gradually build him into English football. Whereas Xhaka and Mustafi, you look at their build and their experience, they're probably a little bit more suited. So I think there's probably various combinations, but no doubt the extra competition up front will help us over the course of the season, Matthew.
Jolly good. Right, that's a very full answer. Right, the next one is from, I'm wondering how you're going to say this, Xhaka-esque. This will go to you, Steve. Do you think we'll see a few changes in the 11 for Burnley? Maybe rest Sanchez, Walcott on the bench, and possibly Giroud, Perez to play. What do you think?
I think one of the big things against Burnley we've got to look at in a bit slightly different frame. Burnley are very, very good at set pieces and very well organised, and this is where they're scoring their goals from. So we need to be at the top of our game there, and that for me means that the defence and Xhaka need to make sure that everybody's got their people and stuff. I think that Burnley game's going to be us with a hell of a lot of possession, and we've got to take our chances. I'm not really sure it's a game I want to see 31-year-old Santi Cazorla playing again in. I don't see the need to keep playing him. I thought it was stupid against Basel that we were 2-0 up. We were cruising in the game and we kept him on for 90 minutes when we could have actually taken him off and let Theo enjoy his night out and really let his confidence fly. No, I don't think you'll see a lot of changes, because I think Wenger wants to keep that momentum and he wants to keep that movement and that bonding and that the whole sort of new speedy, tricky style of play going, and they need games to develop it.
Jolly good. Right, Chennai Gooner, this one for you, David. Has Lucas Perez become the next Chu Young Park? Haven't seen him play for a while now. Go easy on that. He might be slightly tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, far too early to say anything, isn't it? Well, we played 7 games or something, and you don't expect a player, particularly one like him who's got kind of one big season behind him, to move into another European country and hit the ground running. We don't know yet what he's. I thought he looked quite promising against Nottingham Forest. There's no doubt we'll see him again when we play Reading in the next round, maybe even before that should the opportunity present itself. But no, it's far too early to make a judgment on him. He looks as though he's got a bit more about him based on the Nottingham Forest game, but let's keep the judgment reserved on him for now.
I agree. Little Gimli, you ready?
I'm ready.
This is from Browner and Cake don't ask. Is Alexis our 30-goal-a-season striker?
Ooh, well, isn't that a question? I think it's a little bit too early to tell. From what I see at the moment, I think he's very good at setting up and being part of the build-up play. I don't know if he's a 30-goal-a-season striker. That's very difficult to say. Very
Depends on whether he's
difficult.
going to keep playing up front or not, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He's had 2 good games in that position. He's very lively. Of course, he'll score goals. Whether it'll be 30, good question. 2025. I could say, but maybe not so much 30.
Jolly good. Right, this one to you, Mr. Fife. This is, I have no idea what this is on about. From La Flama Blanco, who always sends us in decent questions. Does it make you uncomfortable the way Arsene Wenger says the word comfortable? I don't get that.
I mean,
No, you don't get it either.
honestly, how does he say comfortable?
I don't know. I'm just comfortable.
Did anyone see he bought an old saying out of the closet in the post-match against Basel?
Didn't he see something?
No, top quality. He came out with a bit of top quality at the end of the Basel game.
Really?
Yes, indeed, he did.
There's been several times when I've been listening to his post-match interviews on the radio, and I've told my girlfriend to watch out for key terms like mental strength, and literally on cue he says that term, which is always brilliant.
David,
Yeah, a little look.
David, you chuckled when I asked that question. Do you know something that we don't know about it?
No, but I can hear him saying it because it's as though he's saying he's pronouncing it C-O-N instead of C-O-M, so it's sort of comfortable.
Comfortable.
Okay,
Yeah,
this next
it's amusing.
question is from Real Josh Dorr. He says, what are your top 3 Wenger moments from the 20 years tenure? Right, that one, I think we can all pick one, and I'll come back to that as the last question. Ramsey Vision, so I'll give you a better question then, Mr. Fife. This is from Ramsey Vision. Will Giroud get into the team with Alexis' current form?
Short answer, no. I mean, he'll probably get opportunities when Alexis is benched, but as the first choice centre forward, no.
Oh, right. Back to Steve for this one. The final round of questions from Marble Halls TV. It makes it sound like a TV channel. I don't think it is. Are we title challengers? Can we go unbeaten? The Invincibles 2.0. Are we? We lost
We've
to
already
Liverpool.
We've already lost.
Oh no, here. Can City go unbeaten? The Invincibles 2.0. Yes. What do you think, Steve?
I'd recommend that he goes and watch City versus Celtic last night because it was like fucking carry on football. At one point, at one, let's not forget that City scored 4 of the goals with Sterling doing 1 at each end. But there's the defending, and it's rich for an Arsenal fan to say this, but they were worse than us in our banter years with fucking Senderos and Squillaci. There was one goal where basically Celtic just got the ball, wandered up the other end and stuck it in because they fancied it. So my view is no, they won't go unbeaten. And I think I've watched City quite a few times. I think we can beat them. And I think, yeah, if we don't get bad injuries and we keep this run of form going and, we can keep turning out performances like we did against Chelsea, against the big clubs, I think we can be possible contenders, dependent on keeping people fit. But we've got depth in the squad now. Koch's going to come back, so the Koch-Xhaka nasty alliance will be back to the fore. We've got enough defenders now, and we've got forwards. And I think Perez will surprise a few people once he starts going. I think Mr. Giroud is going to have to be content with grooming his beard on the bench.
I think I missed you out in the last round of questions, didn't I, little Gimli? Not that you care.
Oh, sorry?
I think I missed you out. You meant to go after 5. I'll give you this one. This isn't an MLS question, but it sounds like it. Arsene Wenger, New England manager. See what I did there?
Yes.
MLS. And yeah.
Well, he's already come out.
Move?
He's already come out and said that he thinks that the next England manager should be an Englishman.
Should be a Frenchman called Arsene.
So I very, 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 very highly doubt that there would be any interest in that position from him. But he probably will be asked, and his name probably will be bandied about. in regards to the vacancy, but never going to happen in a million years.
He was asked last night after the game, and he said, "My focus is on Arsenal, and I don't see that changing."
So, David, do you think that he'll ever take another job other than Arsenal?
I would be surprised.
Does anybody else think that?
No, I don't think he will.
No, because I think he'll get his contract extended.
Oh dear. What do you reckon,
That's
Fife?
all right. Gav's just had a stroke having heard that.
In all fairness, though, I put out a tweet and I put something like, "You've got to give Arsene Wenger credit when the team are playing well, because when they don't, you're the first ones to blame him." And you do have to give him credit. And do you know what? If the team go out and play like they have done this week, every single week, I'll fucking give him the contract myself.
Yeah, he can come and even accept it on here, can't he?
And you know, I am up and down with him when he's not performing.
Best way to be, though.
Very critical. But when he's doing well, I will put my hands up and go, "Yeah, right man for this football club." Simple as that.
Okie dokie. Right, next question. So I did.
Where's my answer?
Oh, I said 5 and you didn't answer.
Oh,
Go on, then you go. What do you reckon?
Well, did you see? I sent you that picture of Stan Kroenke was there last night.
You
It's
did.
2 games in a row.
Just above the
And he's
scoreboard.
been there, yeah. So he's been there for the 2 best games we've seen in quite some time. So I wouldn't be 100% surprised if there's a new contract coming Arsenal's way. It was about this time in 2013, after we demolished Napoli, he got given a new 3-year deal. I can't see him going anywhere else after Arsenal. And on the point Gimli makes, I do agree. I think, what's really pissing me off at the moment on Twitter, and we're all seeing, as soon as Arsenal start winning, the AKP say the Wops don't deserve to enjoy it, and at the same time the Wops are saying, well, come on, it's only a couple of games, let's not get too carried away. But they're the first ones to get carried away if there was 2 losses. So I think the best way to be is to have a modicum of reality. And as David says, we need to, we should be able to praise Arsenal when we do well, and you should be able to have a level of criticism when we're not. But I think at the moment there is an element where the club's actually doing very well. We're playing well. We're very settled. Players who haven't played well in some time are really picking up now. We had a good summer, and I think people are starting to reject the level of negativity. There's a few, I think I mentioned this, me and Steve were having this conversation in the group the other day between ourselves, so as we ramble sometimes. There's a few serial negative people out there who are negative for no other reason than probably they see it as their brand to be negative. And I think when at a time when Arsenal aren't doing well, it's easy to criticise not only the team but everything else that's wrong with the team. But at the minute, things are good, and there's just no need for criticising Arsenal for stuff that's the gentrification of Holloway Road or other stuff that has nothing to do with them. And I think we're seeing that it's like politics. Most fans are in the middle, and they'll go left or right depending on what the mood is. And I think at the moment we're seeing a lot of that floating vote rejecting negativity, and it's good to see there's a lot of positive vibes coming out of the club at the minute, and that was manifest in the crowd on the weekend. The fans are really behind the team against Chelsea, and I think all it would have taken is a couple of chances for Chelsea to have, and the crowd would be on players back immediately. But we're seeing that now, and as an Arsenal fan, it's a great time to be going and getting involved. So fair play to the fans for not
Also, Andrew, I was going to say the level of love that there is for Theo Walcott that I've seen on social media this week. Let's have a little bit more of that, Confidence can't do him a bad thing.
He's been getting standing. Well, last night when he came off, he got complete standing ovation. And there was times last year I remember him being subbed off and people didn't even bother standing up or clapping him off. So it says, all about the turnaround. Well, I think we saw there's lots of tweets being dug up above him here. Clearly it hit him hard in the summer that he didn't go to the Euros. I think he was probably expecting to go. I remember Simon, our dear Simon, sent us that article where Wenger was pretty much convinced Theo was going until the day before the squad was announced, which probably tells you all you need to know about what Theo probably thought too. And so it probably hit him hard. I think he's had a kid recently. The fans clearly haven't been loving his. And let's be honest, it's not like Theo's been bad for the last few months. He's been shit now for the best part of 6-7 years, and so it is about time he repaid not only Wenger but the fans. But my word, he's turning into a great player again, and we need to see this on a consistent basis. My only concern is we've seen glimpses of Theo over a few games before, and then he goes and gets injured, and then we're back to square one. So if he can keep this up, we've got a fantastic team on our hands, and it's just about how do we manage it, how do we maintain that consistency. I think this time last year, it's September the 29th now. Last year we had a very good September. Then we didn't go and win a single game in the league in all of October. and then we had a good November, and then December was shaky. So let's see how it goes. Let's not get too carried away. But I think it's good to see we're finally playing with confidence, and that's been echoed throughout the club.
Wow, there you go. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, jeez, the cat just shit itself. Right, this one for David. From Rich Beckers. Is our recent form down to the squad finally being 100% match fit following the summer tournaments?
I think it's down to a whole lot of things. I think that's a part of it. I've just been waxing lyrical about Theo. He actually did an interview with BT Sport yesterday before the game, which kind of revealed his mindset, and he accepted the fact that in recent years he's kind of been drifting and he hasn't been positively working on improving aspects of his game, and he decided over the summer that's exactly what he was going to do. So I think there's an element of that to it. I hope that what he's doing rubs off on, for example, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Kieran Gibbs, who have perhaps not made those strides forward yet, but must be seeing the results of what happens when you put that effort in. I think there's an element of the general depth of the squad. I think we've got a good balance. We've spent a lot of money, but we've signed good footballers. And I think from the back forward, we've got a way of playing that is just lifting everyone around us. So, no, lots and lots of reasons for that improvement.
And well, just little things like in that game now. And one thing I've hammered on about on here for years is that I've always said, as a team, we do not press as a team. We have players who would press individually, like Rosicky and Sanchez, but it was never a tactic of ours. And I've also said, the first defender on the pitch should be your centre forward, and you defend from the top back, and you put pressure on the opposition. You force mistakes, and look what Sanchez did on the weekend. That goal against Gary Cahill. Look last night, that Ozil opportunity where we are literally. We're defending in their top third. We are going for it. We're harrying teams. We're pressuring them. We've got the speed and the skill to be able to pull it off. If you look at Alexis, there's no one with anticipation in like he has. He makes runs behind defenders, expecting them to pass it back to the keeper. But it's not just him. Iwobi maybe not so much. He's not as quick as the others. But if you look at Ozil, Walcott, Alexis, they're all really pressing high up the field, and we're forcing teams into mistakes. And then we've got the players with the speed and the movement to then move off the ball. We're just creating chances out of things which were never there last season. It's like there's a whole new game, and some of these players have been completely reinvigorised. And I don't know if that's because we've got Sanchez up top, as the front man leading that, and others are falling into suit, or if there is a new tactic there. But that's certainly a new part of our game, which we haven't been, particularly strong in recent years, and we're going to continue to put teams under pressure and score more goals because of it.
Fucking hell! Who yawned? I snorted, and someone else yawned. I forgot I wasn't muted. I went as I breathed in. I turned into a pig. Oh dear! So bloody hell! Yes. No one says we don't give thorough answers. So this one. I want everybody. This is from Eric Alfisi. You had to pick Ozil or Sanchez to sign a new extension. Who would you pick, Steve?
Ozil.
David?
Both. I'm not picking one. You can't have one without the other.
Oh, Zlatan has scored in a half-empty stadium. Gimli, who would you pick?
Ozil.
Fife?
Ozil.
I think I'd have to go Ozil too. Although I love what Sanchez does, I think as soon as we don't have Ozil pulling the strings, it'll all fall apart. Right, the question that I've saved for last that I asked you all before from real Josh Dorr, not the fake Josh Dorr. What is your... He asked for the top three, but we'll have one each. What's your favourite moment from Wenger's 20-year tenure? Who wants to go first? Oh, I've got the hiccups now. It's terrible. Someone has to go first. Hello?
The old boy will go first then. Winning the league at White Hart Lane for a second time.
Oh, it's more than they've done it.
Exactly. No, it was a toss-up between that and winning it at Old Trafford, but there's something special about winning the league at the Lane, and there's particularly with Sol Campbell in the side, that just made it all the more delicious.
Steve, you got
one? Going 20 years of the scum finishing below us. And I think Arsene Wenger's one of his best achievements ever, that's gone under the radar is that he actually went for a whole decade, and Tottenham were unable to beat us in the league. 10 fucking years.
Spot on.
5 in under an hour.
In terms of actual moments when I was there, when Overmars scored and we won 1-0 up at Old Trafford in '98, that was, and we realised that was the moment we were going to win the league. That was unbelievable.
Good one.
I was laid in bed watching that on TV with the Offspring's mother back then, and I still remember that moment, the gold shirts, and then he's scoring that goal, chipping it over the goalie. Oh, what a wonderful moment. Gimli, have you
You're
got one?
always laid in bed.
His biggest achievement.
No, just a thing, a moment, a single moment it can be, or an achievement, anything you want.
I think single achievement, finishing the Champions League for so many years. Isn't it every single year since he's been here?
Yeah.
I think that's just a phenomenal achievement. You've seen, even in today's football, you've seen that the good teams that have won leagues have fallen off. You look at Man United, Liverpool haven't won titles, but they've always been they've dropped off, and we've always been up there. We've always been consistent. We've pretty much always been competitive, and I think if you're looking at reasons why that is, I think you can only look square at one man, and that man would be Arsene Wenger.
Very good. My one is going to be something that just makes me smile every time I see it. When he got sent off at Old Trafford, he had to go and stand in the stand, stand in the stands. Went and stood in the stands, and then he put his arms out, and he was like an Arsenal Jesus up there, looking down upon us all, his flock. I thought that was, every time I see that, I think, oh, you're a bad man. I do mean naughty. I don't mean what the Utes say. Right, so there you go, Gimli. That's some really, really good questions there, and superbly answered by all, apart from me.
Yeah.
My hiccups and my yawning.
We'll start wrapping this up then with some predictions. Burnley away, isn't it? I believe.
It certainly is.
And some shout-outs. I've just asked my followers on Twitter. The winner of my shout-out this week's is the one that uses the funniest one word to describe you.
I wondered why Pizza Goon has just tweeted me.
So far, I've had the likes of vampire, sex bomb, peanut, and even Gav has got involved.
I know.
GFP McGFP face. I think I like that. A shout out to Gav at Shewar. Go and follow him. He's just what a geezer. Right then, we'll continue the show with the predictions. Danny, we'll start with you for Burnley away.
Oh dear, another yawn. I don't know what's up with me. I haven't eaten yet. I'm going to say 1-0. Because we can't just go there and take it for granted. So 0-1. And the first goal scorer... I'm going to go Theo again. Why not? Pushing the boat out. Yeah, it's not an easy game. They've had 2 wins and a draw in their last 3 home games.
Fantastic. Andrew?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal, Alexis Sanchez.
Fantastic.
Are you eating sweeties?
Yeah, I went. All my family are over from Australia on the weekends. I haven't seen my nieces and nephews for 4 years. So I went to a sweet shop in Greenwich today and bought these big boxes of sweets. And my girlfriend just gone and got a bag out of my my rucksack. So
she's a temptress with the sweeties.
Nah, nuts and berries.
Yeah, grape nuts. Didn't even know grapes had nuts.
Do they not?
There you go.
What's your prediction, David?
I'll take 3-0 Arsenal with Alexis scoring first.
Oh, you fucker. Sorry.
Did you just swear at David? That's a crime in some countries.
Carnage used to come on this show, and he did the shit to me like that every week, nicking my prediction. I've gone 3-0 Alexis.
Well, you can have it as well.
I guess we can be happy together when it comes off.
We'll still get the same points.
Well, that is true. Danny, stick me down for 3-0 Alexis. David is wise. Steve?
I'm going to go 2-1. First scorer Theo Walcott.
Oh,
very wise.
Hedging your bets there.
And some shout-outs. Danny, we'll go to you first.
Is anyone going to pick Gav because of his thing? I think, were you going to pick that one?
No, I've already given Gav a bit of a shout-out.
Ah, good. So... Well, I'm going to pick Gav because he's a chopsy strutter of a human being, and he's put GFP McGFP face, and we all love Gav. He's great, but he's don't annoy him. he'll smash the gaff up when he goes full strutter on you, and you never make him go full strutter. So that's at SheWar. Not that Gav needs any publicity. And a quick hello to Pizza Guna as well, because she's says curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon. We should do this more often. David?
Shout out is going to be a real weird one today. I'm not going to have a person. It's not going to be Twitter. Fife mentioned earlier about the gentrification of Holloway Road. I think we brushed over that a little bit quickly, because on Saturday when I got up there, as it was a late kick-off, I thought I'd better line the stomach before I go and have a couple of pints. And I went to the El Rincon Cafe, which has always been in Holloway Road and always did the best breakfast. And it wasn't there. There's some bloody bistro there selling chicken and chips for £10.
Those nut cutlet tossers.
Oh, God awful. I don't know how they do. And luckily, I'm going to give the shout out to the Little Wonder Cafe. If anyone knows what was a chippy, but it's now a cafe on the corner opposite the new stadium, I went in there for the first time. They do a wonderful sausage sandwich and a mug of tea for not very much money. So my shout out, definitely the Little Wonder Cafe. Do use it.
Somebody was saying to me last night that the Workers' Paradise Cafe down the Holloway Road, which was always a staunch greasy spoon and a gaff to go when a chap had a hangover and needed a large English, has been, quote, Ponsified.
No,
I didn't go that far down. That's the Hope Workers one, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's not been
always used to be a
Ponsified
good
at all.
breakfast in there, but I've
Is it all right, Andrew, still?
I mean, if by ponsified you mean they still have, no, not. I mean, it still has copious amounts of sugar all over the tables when you go in there. I mean, Holloway Road. Don't get me wrong. I live on just off Upper Street, and every time I walk down Holloway Road, there's something new every week. So maybe it's changed in the last 3 months since I last been there. But I mean, I went about 3 or 4 months ago, and it was normal. But I'll let you know in a couple of days when I go on a little stroll down there. I'll check it out. But
is the fish and chip shop still open at the back of the North Bank on the corner? That's where I used to get all of mine.
I know
Gillespie
it's
Road, you
Gillespie
mean?
Road.
Yeah.
I think it is, but it's not open all the time like it used to. I don't think they're doing particularly good business. There's a couple of better fish and chip shops on the Blackstock Road still, aren't there?
Yeah.
And then there's a couple up on Upper Street. So, but I know the one you mean. There's one on Holloway Road actually, next to Piebury, which is a really good fish and chip shop.
Oh, if anybody wants pies, Piebury's the place to go, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely so. Steve?
Yes. Shout out. Yes. Thingy. Now, my shout out's going to go to one of our American compatriots, a man who likes a good laugh and who likes a bit of sarcasm, a friend of the podcast as well. And, of course, silly bollocks here has lost his bloody name, which was on the screen just a minute ago. It's Mike Gancom. Mike Gannon, actually, and he's at Gancom. A fine chap, an Arsenal fan. Not a fan of Donald Trump at all. Very erudite and knows his Arsenal stuff. And he's very good to have a banter with. So if you like a bit of a laugh from the other side of the Atlantic, follow Mike.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I follow him.
Andrew?
Well, just a quick one on the points I didn't say about Burnley. One thing I think it's going to be very interesting to see how our back four cope, because Burnley as a team, Dyke's got them set up. They're very good from set pieces.
Did you just call him Dyke?
Yeah, I always call him Dyke. Remember, I used to call him Dyke because he can't do up a tie. His ties go to about his belly button. Anyway,
this is a bit rich from a man that appeared in a photograph with Nigel Winterburn with his tie looking like a Tottenham player.
Well, there's my first shout out gone to Nigel Winterburn, who I bumped into in my office today. I got into my lift and I went up to the wrong floor because I wasn't looking. So I came out of the lift and he was just stood there waiting to go down, looking very confused in a big financial block, which was interesting. Like, nice guy. So he was at the game last night. He was very impressed with how we're playing, and he's confident we're going to go very far this season, which is good to hear. I didn't tell him that I dropped him from my Wenger 11, fortunately. He was looking smart.
We didn't talk Wenger 11s, did we?
We didn't talk Wenger 11s, you fucking wank. Oh, put so much effort into that as well today. Set up a new group on WhatsApp
if you'd
and
have
everything.
fucking got on with it. Have we got time? Have we got time to go through it, Gim?
Yeah, we can go through it if Andrew doesn't fanny about.
Well, can I finish off my shout-outs first?
Yes.
Oh, that's fannying about.
Oh,
Go.
Shout out to Nigel Winterburn, who was a gentleman, and also shout out to friend of the pod, whilst we're on the subject of Wenger 11s, Jimmy Trader, who put out a very serious Arsenal team today. Ashley Maitland-Niles at right back, because despite only playing one game there, he would definitely be the best right back in a formation whereby we have a diamond midfield. So
I saw that.
Has he been committed yet?
no, last time I saw him, he'd found someone in Australia who actually has the handle Jimmy Trader, and he was trying to get it back, claiming that the guy was falsely misrepresenting.
Waiting for you to come and help us. He was waiting for you to broker the deal.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, at one point I was going to go in, but I thought,
right, come on then. Let's get on with these Arsenal 11s, because it's nearly 20 to 11 here.
Hold on. My shout out goes to Simon Shaky, who is at Shaky Match One. Absolutely lovely bloke. Give him a follow, and he's gone with the word vexatious.
He certainly has.
Go on, Andrew.
So my 11 was Lehmann, had to be Spakari Sanya. I know that caused a little bit of controversy, but I think he was a fantastic defender for us, and he stuck by us during all the banter era and managed to perform despite playing in teams alongside Scalacci, Senderos, Sylvester, and Clichy. So shout out to him. You can't have anyone but Tony Adams in centre back, and I think Sol Campbell making the move from Tottenham. He's got to be in there with me with Ashley Cole, unfortunately, at left back. Now, it was a tough one for me, whether you go 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2, because I decided either way it's going to be tough to shoehorn Ozil and Bergkamp into the same side. There's no way they could both play 4-2-3-1. So I've gone 4-4-2 with Sanchez on the right, Perez on the left, Vieira and Ozil in the middle, with Ozil adopting a number 10, and then obviously Bergkamp and Omri up front.
Okay, wonderful. David?
A few changes. I had David Seaman in goal. I had Laurent Koscielny alongside Tony Adams, because I think over the last couple of years he has come on leaps and bounds and is probably just about the best central defender in Europe right now. Plump for Lee Dixon at right back, which got me a load of stick from someone I don't know on Twitter, but apparently 465 games and 25 goals doesn't make him a good enough player to replace Bakary. Ashley Cole I had to go for on the left, and I'll brush over that. Only one change from Fife's midfield. I've got Petit alongside Vieira rather than Ozil, because I think the balance of those two, that side in '98 was probably the most attractive football we played at, and that was largely due to those two. And obviously Sanchez right, Perez left, and Henry and Bergkamp up top.
I thought that was interesting that you didn't have Overmars in the team, though, given that you said that 98 was, I think I mentioned in the pod, Dave, 98 was the most attractive. So you've gone for Sanchez, which I thought was actually pretty interesting.
Well, because Sanchez can play on the right and Overmars can't, and I can't pick Overmars ahead of Perez. Perez, for me, was just one of the most gifted footballers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Steve, have you got one?
Yeah, I have. I sort of monkeyed around with one earlier on. I had a second thought on it just before the pod. I've gone for David Seaman in goal. Very close for me for him and Lehmann, but I think Seaman was there for so long and pulled off so many fantastic saves. At right back, I've gone for Lauren. Because of his grit, his determination, and anybody who can run 25 yards to hack down Ronaldo when he's pouncing around on the wing gets my vote any day of the week.
And the last-minute penalty against Spurs. Steve,
and let's not forget the tantrum he made. He made Sherwood have that day. But I've gone for Lauren for one reason. Absolutely. But I've gone for Lauren for one reason, is that I've never forgiven Lee Dixon for not hacking down Ryan Giggs for preventing that fucking goal.
2001 FA Cup final.
Yeah, and that's why I've gone for Lauren. Obviously, Tony Adams at centre half, and I've gone for Martin Keown as his partner, because I think they were a formidable partnership, and Keown's mobility and reading of the game for me gave him the edge over Sol Campbell. Again, never forgiven Sol Campbell for the horrific display against West Ham of fucking off at half time and going AWOL. Left back Ashley Cole. Yes, he did the dirty and left Arsenal go to Chelsea, but what a player, what a defender. And his performance in an England shirt where he put Cristiano Ronaldo at his prime in his back pocket for 90 minutes against Portugal, absolute sublime piece of defending of world class. And I've gone 4-3-3. I've got Robert Perez where he's supposed to be, playing with Patrick Vieira in the middle, and I've got Ozil out on the other side, because that enables... I know that Lauren's more than capable of that back four, capable of covering for Ozil and Perez's abscondings and not defending, and Patrick Vieira can clean up the mess. And I've got a front three of Bergkamp, Wright, and Thierry Henry.
Sorry, I've just made a mess in my pants.
Danny?
Those three up front.
Nothing unusual there, then.
Seaman, Dixon, Winterburn, Keown, Adams. Those five as a defensive unit, and nothing in the history of football has ever paralleled that or beaten it or anything like that. Although Ashley Cole was a better left back, and although maybe Lauren and Sanya are really good right backs, and Sol Campbell might have been a better central defender than Keown. But those five as a unit, the best ever that I've ever seen in football. And when you can go an entire season and only let in 17 goals. Was he whispering rude stuff in my ear? You're not muted, you tit.
Oh.
And then I've gone right midfield Sanchez because he's just absolutely fantastic. Left midfield have to go Perez. Central midfield I was tempted to go Petit Vieira like David did, but I've gone Ozil and Vieira. One to supply, one to kill, and then the obligatory Henry and Bergkamp up front, because I really wanted to pick Ian Wright and Bergkamp, because that first half of the 98 double season when they were scoring a goal a game between them until he got injured was just the 98 double season, my favourite ever season, and I really wanted to do that, but the ability of Henry just to go and do what Henry does, so yeah, sadly I had to pick Henry the splitter.
I've got a confession to make. I haven't done one because Alex Hunter waylaid me.
Well, just do one then. You don't need to do one.
I will do one for next week.
Oh, you can say it now.
Are we going to get all the people from next week to do one as well?
What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can get everyone to do their prediction and then put it on the website. Maybe put it in where the blogs are, but I'll have to ask OG's permission to do that, or he might want to help or something. We've got to put them somewhere on the site just for future reference. It's always good to know what everybody thinks and all the bloggers, and so have it all on one big page looking nice.
I've just tweeted mine, Dan. If you want to save it in there, that's my second one.
I will do. I shall go and save that and put it with the rest of them.
And I will go and do one when the claws of FIFA.
If you can ever put that fucking controller down.
Yeah, I know. I've gone 2 hours now without playing it, and I'm shaking.
No wonder bloody Kate's off round to see Raj.
I know. I heard it's the toppings that do it.
It is. She can top him.
So is that left? Is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Wonderful.
First, we must apologise for Five's terrible audio on and off all the way through, but he lives in a mansion with 14-foot thick walls, so hopefully he's going to Ethernet himself up soon.
He's probably the richest one here, and he's got the poorest sound quality.
It's sadly true.
Are you ashamed, Andrew?
No, I don't usually take calls myself. I usually have someone take
do it for me.
There is actually a rumour that while he was locked out of his abode and he had the butler hanging off the upper windowsill trying to break in, that his wife was actually got a maid to force feed him kebab through a straw earlier on.
I thought he had someone on the balcony tipping grey goose into his mouth from a height.
I hope it was Grey Goose.
None of that Smirnoff muck.
Let's not go there.
Right then. All that's left is to thank my wonderful guests tonight. Andrew, Steve, David, Danny, as always, you have to be here.
Don't.
Wonderful. So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it Arsenal. Good night. That's much better.
Yes. Are you all connected up as well, Steve?
Yeah, I'm all connected up now. I'm got my USB wedged in there. I've just eaten I've just been a right greedy bastard. I've just eaten a full quiche.
Oh, wow. Bacon and egg.
Yeah, bacon and egg one. It's the only type.
Fucking love a bit of quiche.
Well, you don't often see them at a game, so when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately, and get the brown sauce on and bosh, Bob's your uncle.
I suppose the supermarkets over there, just everything is just cabbage based.
How very dare you? This isn't fucking Cambridge, you know. Fucking, we have Marks and Spencers out here, you know.
Yeah.
I like cabbage.
I like cabbage, but not sauerkraut.
Mm. We actually get the waft coming up. We've got a Polish couple live downstairs, so we get the occasional waft of it coming upstairs.
They don't, and normally the young ones don't go for it. They don't eat it that much, but it's basically you do get it in some things and in some bits, some dishes.
Do you know what? I thought of you this week, Andrew. You're a big fan of The Office, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
If you want another really, really good British comedy out at the moment, like that's kind of slipped under the radar, People Just Do Nothing. Oh,
yeah. Right.
Genius.
Corrupt FM.
You remind me of Chabuddy G, actually.
Hey. Is that
Hey.
racist or is that fattest? I don't know.
Chabuddy D!
Get on with it, you cunts.
Right, here we go. I did redo your intro. So 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome.
All we're doing is need to get a title for this now. What are we
Yeah,
thinking?
I told you, C3PO.
Ugh,
Like
it's
C3PO.
terrible. It's Star Wars based and Star Wars is gay.
Frio,
Come on, David, you're the man of words.
Yes. Yes.
Frio Walcott.
Gimli's a FIFA spotty cunt in his pants.
I am actually sat in my pants.
Oh,
And it would be really good when we're doing the pod if you weren't sitting there burning up the fucking end of your resin, you git.
Do you know, I've got a Zippo and the flint has just gone on it. So I'm having to use one of these cheap clipper fucking flick, click, thick.
Call the
Heaven
RSPCA,
forbid.
they'll help you out. Come on,
Can we
what's
not
the title?
Can we not talk smoking? Because it's the one thing I mean, I'm sure Dave concurs that I really miss it.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I've got a date with Alex Hunter.
Oh, you're such a cunt.
I know. Right then, boys. Thank you very much.
All right, go on, piss off.
Guys, gentlemen, before you all fuck off, in 9 minutes on BBC Two Premier League show is about Arsene Wenger.
Oh.
It's got Martin Keown, Ian Wright, Amy Lawrence on it. Sadly,
Piers
also
Morgan.
it's got the grass on it, but it's worth watching, I think.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, good plan.
I'll have to give that a
David.
record.
Haven't you got any ideas for a title? I mean, we've had some, but we've got to have something better. Something that we said in the show. I was thinking gay abandon. That's an actual saying. Like, you don't care.
Yeah.
You're a wordsmith.
Is it politically correct?
No, we can't. No. If they say gay abandon, they'll just think Gimli's left us. Hey!
Oh!
Yeah, go with it.
No, I can't use that. We get complaints. Something about smashing the chavs.
What were the words?
What about something about Basel, as in Basel 40?
I think all the blogs did that to death yesterday and today.
Did they? Well. It's all very tickety-boo. Because it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's not tickled me.
We found what...
Arsene's new contract.
Oh, no, don't. You'll have Gav stringing himself up. It's all rather smashing.
No, don't like that.
Conti, Cunty, John Terry. There's a lot of cunts at Chelsea. Or Conti, Cunty, John Terry. We cunted Chelsea. Or we cunted the cunts. How about that?
I can't have the word cunt in the title on iTunes and YouTube.
Oh, no, probably not. No.
Chelsea contied it up. No, that's no good. This is why I only press record.
The Art of Disrespect by Ozil.
Oh, how about a no-look pass? Something about that. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. Yeah. No Look Arse.
The no-look edition.
Yeah, the
The
No
no-
Look edition.
The no-look podcast. No.
Yeah, no look. No, just put No Look Arse. No Look Arse, as in No Look Arsenal.
Not going to get away with arse, I don't think, on iTunes.
You're very quiet, Fife. You still there?
No.
He's busy stuffing Haribo in his face.
Uh,
Oh, normally every week it's usually easy to get it.
Blue was the colour. No, there's got to be something Chelsea-based.
Sending
in
the
there.
Chavs back to Division 2. That's a bit long, though, isn't it?
Sending Chelsea.
Dismantling the Chelsea bus.
The Chelsea return to the dog track.
No, people.
You don't want to put Chelsea's name in it.
No, we
just,
don't.
just call it No Look Podcast. I think that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's growing on me.
No Look Podcast. Good. The No Look Podcast.
Oh Jesus! I've kept my fat finger on caps lock. The No Look Podcast. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah.
I'll go and edit the. Oh, blue lights. Wasn't me. That's an ambulance going slowly. Oh, it's a fire engine.
Oh, well, I hope it's not you then.
That's probably Sean's mother. She's probably called them again and told them she stuck up a ladder. Dirty lady. 161. Podcast 161. Shit the bed.
Work, fellas. Right, I'm going to fly and get a drink before this programme starts.
You've got 5
same
minutes. Thank you very
Thank you very much,
usual.
fellas. Lovely to talk to you again.
Yes,
Thank you, David.
very good. Are you there, Fife?